And we're seeing about 7.5 inches of rain throughout the area. And right here I'm standing in a few inches of water, and we're seeing the first stages of flooding. Bethany Johnson says she and her family have been living in a motel since they evacuated on Saturday. She says when they returned home and saw this, they were absolutely devastated. Now, he doesn't know much about the investigation at this point, but he says he believes the officer involved acted appropriately when he opened fire on Jethro Benjamin. Governor McMaster said while it's unfortunate that this situation happened, he said it's not surprising given the dangerous nature of inmates in maximum security prisons. Neighbors say when they heard about Qatar Ramadan's death, they had a gut feeling it was done by someone who she knew, someone who had access to her apartment. I want to show you right behind me, this Marriott sign is just getting torn right off. The wind, again, is just so strong. Right now, if your grass is taller than 18 inches, you will receive a notice from the city as well as a bill for cleanup cost. But if a new ordinance at City Council passes, you will receive both of those plus a $500 fine. Tropical Storm Florence continues to batter this area with heavy winds, heavy rain. I want to show you something really fast. There are several downed branches in this road. One right in front of me right here, a few back there under that tree, and then across the street.
News 13's Erin Brown joins us now live tonight with one man's story of recovery. Erin.
Nicole, Robert Bunch attempted sobriety 4 times before coming to Owl's Nest Recovery Center. He says he started abusing painkillers when he got his wisdom teeth taken out.
I thought my legacy was going to be to die from addiction.
Life has new meaning for Robert Bunch, an alumni of the rehabilitation program at Owl's Nest Recovery Center. The 23-year-old says his fall to addiction was due to a mixture of character flaws.
I was a selfish, egotistical person before I even started doing drugs.
And peer pressure. He says his days of abusing painkillers started when he got his wisdom teeth taken out.
I already had friends who were in active addiction, and when they came to find out the prescription that I had, they recommended me, you know, you take so many, you'll feel this type of way. And me being the yes man that I was, I took their advice, and, you know, I was like Superman, you know.
Bunch says he felt empowered by the drugs, but slowly realized that false sense of empowerment was destroying him. He attempted recovery 4 times, but it wasn't until an ultimatum from his sister that he decided to get serious about getting sober.
A lot of it had to do with my nephew being born. If I didn't stop doing what I was doing, that I would have no part in his life. And it really hit me hard that night, and probably 2 weeks after that, I was here.
Bunch is now using his story to inspire others to choose life over drugs.
I thought that if I changed who I was, nobody would like me. You know, nobody would like who Rob really is. And that's not the case. I have more friends today that I can actually rely on than I ever had before. You know, there is hope for people like us, and change is good.
And currently there are 78 residents going through short and long-term programs. Reporting live in Florence, Erin Brown for News 13.
Governor Roy Cooper spent a good chunk of his day in Lumberton, and so did News 13's Erin Brown.
I spoke with one man who says he has faith that the federal government will do what they can to make sure the money gets here to South Lumberton, but he says he feels South Lumberton was forgotten in the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew, and he doesn't want that to happen again.
It's been a devastating time over here on this street for the community, for this side of town in South Lumberton.
Residents on Front Street have been here before, picking up the pieces after floodwaters ravaged their neighborhood. Marcel Jackson says his aunt's home was one of many houses threatened by rising water in Hurricane Matthew and again in Hurricane Florence.
Yeah, all of this is actually flooded. Right here you can see where some power company drove through our yard. And you can see how wet the ground is, and also you can also see during Matthew, that's where the water actually came up on the brick right there.
Okay, that's what I thought, yeah. So that's a few feet of water.
Yes, yes.
Probably looks like about 2 or 3 feet?
Or... Yeah.
Jackson says the impacts of 2 major hurricanes in 2 years are taking a toll on the community, especially financially.
But the south side of Lumberton has not received what's owed to them. They have not received the benefits, the funds. We have not received the support that we need on South Lumberton. I will say that, and I stand on that.
As they continue waiting for federal relief funds, Governor Roy Cooper is vowing to expedite the process.
We have a lot of people who were hurt twice, and we've asked the federal government for flexibility in our efforts to make sure that everybody is covered.
Jackson says he believes the governor, but ultimately he puts his faith in a higher power.
I put my trust in God, and I trust him for all things. I'll say it's a blessed by God community. You have some real people here who believe in prayer.
He also says some of the roads here are so badly flooded, he and some of his neighbors haven't been able to make it to work, which has taken a financial toll on the community. But he says they're all rallying together to support one another. Reporting in Lumberton, Erin Brown for News 13.